What's up everyone, and welcome back to the MMA Zone. Today, let's get started with Khamzat Chimaev versus Kamaru Usman next. Kamaru Usman is eager to get back his October majority decision loss to Khamzat Chimaev. After stepping in on short notice, Usman narrowly lost to Chimaev back at UFC 294, marking his third straight after back-to-back losses to Leon Edwards. While it's unclear whether Usman is going to remain at middleweight after what many consider to be an impressive short-notice performance despite the loss, Usman's manager, Ali Abdelaziz, spoke with the Schmo this week to discuss Usman's next move on the heels of a call-out from Paulo Costa.
Listen, the only fight he wanted at middleweight, it's Khamzat. You know, they won a 5-round main event somewhere, right? That's the only fight he wants at the moment. But right now he's recovering. He's clean. You know, he's getting his body right. And I think what Kamaru he wanted a headline UFC main event in Dallas, Texas. This is where he's from, you know? And if the UFC can, you know, listen, he did a lot of good things for the UFC. Dana love him. UFC did a lot of good things for him too. And I think it's going to be a super fight. It's going to be a big fight when he come back. But it will not be Paulo Costa.
As Abdelaziz also indicated, Usman has his sights set on a return in August or September. This could conflict with the timeline for Chimaev's next fight, which is expected to be over the summer. In addition, with Paulo Costa seemingly out of the picture, this could set the stage for another booking of the previously scheduled Chimaev versus Costa fight. Next up, let's take a look at Ilia Topuria receives huge news. On the heels of his spectacular knockout win over Alexander Volkanovski, Ilia Topuria has received a hero's welcome in Spain, where he kicked off at the Santiago Bernabeu Stadium prior to Real Madrid's match against Sevilla. There was a considerable amount of attention on the young standout amongst Spanish fans prior to his UFC 298 fight, with the main event bout drawing the attention of some of Spain's biggest stars, including tennis legend Rafael Nadal and one of the greatest goaltenders of all time, Iker Casillas. While it was made clear that Topuria was already a star in Spain, his star power has skyrocketed in the wake of the win. While on his victory tour following UFC 298, Topuria was awarded with Spanish citizenship by the Prime Minister of Spain, who shared a video of the moment on social media, along with a caption which translates to, "Your effort, dedication, perseverance have made you achieve your dream. The second one will soon become a reality. Your love for Spain will be reflected on your Spanish national identity document." While Topuria was born in Germany to Georgian parents, he has continued to reside in Spain ever since moving there when he was a teenager. According to both the newly crowned champ and Dana White, the promotion will be heading to Spain for an event down the line, where many fans are expecting the newly crowned champion to defend his title. However, the big question is, who will he defend the title against? Next up, let's take a look at Sean O'Malley reacts to Ryan Garcia comments. Ahead of his scheduled clash with Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia has continued to go back and forth with UFC bantamweight champion Sugar Sean O'Malley. This week, on an episode of the MMA Hour, Boxing's Garcia, while praising what he believes to be underrated grappling abilities, suggested potentially signing with the UFC in pursuit of a fight with bantamweight champion Sean O'Malley. During a recent episode of the Timbo Sugar Show, O'Malley fired back at Garcia ahead of his upcoming UFC 299 fight with Chito Vera.
I said, brother, I would kill you within minutes. It's just not even realistic. It's crazy how stupid and delusional that is. I wonder if people think like that when I call out boxers though. Is it the same kind of thing? I mean, it is a little bit crazy when I call out boxers, a little bit. Not a ton, not 100% crazy. It's a little bit. But when boxers say they want to fight in MMA, it's 100% crazy. I don't need to take him down to I mean, I could take him down and choke him, but it's like I would kick him in the body. I would kick his little sticks. I would do whatever I wanted to him.
As we've seen in the past, most famously with James Toney, when boxers attempt to make the transition into mixed martial arts, they often struggle with the multi-dimensional aspect of the fight, specifically, of course, when it comes to grappling. While MMA fighters have continued to seek out super fights with boxers in boxing, the idea of a top-ranked boxer joining the UFC for a cross-promoted bout could be a game changer if the UFC is willing to entertain it. Next, let's take a look at Islam Makhachev will fight twice in 2024. While there was some hope among the MMA community that lightweight champion Islam Makhachev could potentially headline UFC 300, The timing of the event conflicted with Ramadan, making a fight on the historic card a no-go for the 155-pound champion. Despite that, he recently took to social media, indicating that he wants to fight once over the summer, and then once at the end of this year, giving fans hope that after Ramadan ends, he'll quickly jump back into the swing of things. According to his manager, Ali Abdelaziz, who spoke in a recent interview with the Schmo, Makhachev plans to fight at least 2 times this year.
At least he gonna fight whatever the UFC is gonna give us the date, and he will fight at least 2 times this year at minimum.
Makhachev had previously given his timeline for the next 12 months, indicating that he wants to fight Justin Gaethje over the summer before then competing against the winner of the Charles Oliveira-Arman Tsarukyan fight in November and an unnamed opponent in February. Of course, Gaethje is scheduled to fight Max Holloway at UFC 300, while Oliveira and Tsarukyan are fighting in a title eliminator. Should Gaethje emerge victorious from his clash with Holloway, he'll likely call for a title shot, just as the winner of the Oliveira vs Tsarukyan fight will. With plenty of options for the UFC, it'll be interesting to see how things shake out. Now, let's shift gears and take a look at new UFC division gets leaked? For quite some time now, there's been talk of the UFC adding a 165-pound division in order to bridge the gap between 155 and 170-pound divisions. While many have repeatedly called for the UFC to implement such a change, nothing had come to fruition or been under serious consideration until this week, when lightweight Rafael Fiziev indicated that he's hearing the UFC is planning to add a 165-pound division. While speaking to Russian media outlet Ushateka, Fiziev shared the big news. This is not a rumor. This is already for sure as far as I know. I heard that this is already true, and even they have already fought. They even identified something there, I heard. Yes. Over the years, there have been a number of fighters who could fall into the new 165-pound division, such as former lightweight champion Rafael dos Anjos, Kevin Lee as well, both during their primes, and Dustin Poirier, who has indicated that he doesn't feel as though he's big enough to move up to welterweight. The big question is whether or not the promotion will then bump the welterweight limit up 5 pounds to 175 in order to maintain a 10-pound weight gap between their divisions, with the exception of the jump from the middleweight limit of 185 to the light heavyweight limit of 205 pounds, and the jump from light heavyweight to heavyweight. While nothing is certain, it sounds as though there could potentially be a big shakeup to the UFC on the horizon. Next, let's take a look at Jorge Masvidal confirms he's coming out of retirement. Earlier this year, Jorge Masvidal broke some big news indicating that he was unretired less than a year after retiring following his loss to Gilbert Burns. The big question among the combat sports community was whether Masvidal would be returning to the octagon or whether he had gotten out of his UFC contract and would be making the jump to boxing. At the time, rumors indicated he would be boxing Nate Diaz, although no date was given. During a recent interview with Fansided, Masvidal opened up on his highly anticipated return to active competition, while also answering the question on many fans' minds: will he be returning to MMA for the Noche UFC event in September?
You know, the UFC will have to call me on that one in particular and work out like a rather handsome deal. But for right now, my mind's more on boxing. I got this chance to box. I'm not looking to do MMA immediately. Will I do it? Of course, I love it. It's my favorite thing in the world. But right now, I'll probably go down some boxing before I do MMA.
With plenty still up in the air regarding his move to boxing, it'll be interesting to see what this year has in store for the original BMF. Next, let's take a look at Daniel Cormier fires back at Jon Jones. While Daniel Cormier and Jon Jones have not competed against one another since back in 2017 at UFC 214, the pair have continued to go back and forth publicly on a number of occasions. Recently, while teaching a seminar in Thailand, Jon Jones name-dropped Cormier twice. In one instance, he praised DC, demonstrating a high crotch setup that the Olympian used during his MMA career, while in another instance, he cracked jokes about his longtime rival, while demonstrating how to deal with an aggressive opponent using a lot of forward pressure. The clips were both widely circulated among the MMA community, with Cormier taking note. While speaking in a video for his YouTube channel, the former two-division champ touched on a variety of topics, pointing out that Jones perpetuates their ongoing back and forth. In addition, he also weighed in on the seminar footage itself, doubling down on his praise for Jones and his use of knees when they fought.
I just want everyone to know that while it seems as though he wants to give me my flowers, he likes to make fun of me. You know, people say stuff like Jones lives rent-free in DC's head, da-da-da. What about him? He's doing a seminar and he's doing 3 things talking about me. DC used to throw this overhand right and get into the high crotch. Compliment. DC fought very aggressive. So I would do this, and he would make this sound. I wonder if he gets the same thing that I get when I respond.
DC also spoke about the recent footage of John Jones and Francis Ngannou at the PFL vs. Bellator event over this past weekend. After Jones previously took some verbal jabs at Cormier over his weight, the former two-division champ found it ironic that this time, it was Francis Ngannou taking a verbal jab at John Jones for his weight. Although it's been years since these two fought, it seems as if there's no doubts about whether there's any lingering beef. The MMA community calls out Khabib for scamming. Khabib posted on Twitter promoting an investment company called Wahid Investment and asked fans to invest money with them. Wahid Investment is an online halal investing platform that aligns with Islamic principles, but allegedly the company was charged $300,000 by the US SEC for misleading statements, breaching fiduciary duty, and some other violations. Khabib promoting the investment left some MMA fans upset because he's contradicting what he says is his belief, and because of his controversy of being accused of scamming his fans with his NFT collection. Here's what the MMA community had to say about Khabib. Khabib and scam go together like peanut butter and jelly. This is haram. Bro promoting more scams. Another scam Khabib promotes. Oh no, he's promoting scams again. Just so everyone knows, Khabib is buddy with Kadyrov, a known dictator. His best friend / manager is a certified terrorist and he scams his fans. Clown talking about legacy and out here promoting gambling. Top comments. It's crazy when fighters say they can easily beat someone but price themselves out of the fight. I'll beat Sean O'Malley for $20 million. How about guys call out other guys in their own weight class? I want to see top in the divisions fighting each other. And can we stop having 4 and 5 rematches? The UFC does not do gimmick fights. Goes to show how badly Sean mauled DDP if he can't / won't fight Izzy at UFC 300. Makhachev and Topuria need to face the top 5 in their own division. UFC is slowly derailing the rankings and the integrity of the sport. What a mockery of the sport. Paulo Costa is turning into one of my favorite fighters. Make sure to leave a comment and you might get featured in our next video. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications to never miss any MMA news. Check out our video from yesterday if you missed it. See you tomorrow.